Williams, Chair. We will have a couple members that will be showing up here shortly. For those who are paying attention, which is probably not many people because you have other important things to do. We were in pretty late last night finalizing the budget, or attempting to get the budget finalized. So we didn't get done until a little after midnight. So I'm sure some members are getting caught up with some things at other hearings. So we will, Jim, we'll just go forward as a subcommittee. Okay. Okay, so then we'll move forward as a subcommittee, and then once everyone gets in, we'll establish a quorum. So with that, we will start with our first and only bill, and there's a lot of you here. I don't know if you're here for gubernatorial appointments afterwards, I guess. Okay, everybody's here for this bill? Oh, wow. Okay, so we're going to be hearing House Committee Substitute, House Bill for 927, Representative Gragg. Please come up and let us hear about your bill.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. If you need coffee, I've got it in my office all day today, so come on over. Oh, understand. Well, I'll make it really quick because I know we've got folks back here as well. 927 is a bill that is created. Actually, we stole it from the state of Florida in part. They created this about 2-3 years ago. Great bill. What it does is it takes dads who are absent or have given up or are just not involved because of the system, life, whatever. They have not been able to navigate the fatherhood avenue very well, and they have just not been dad. They're not engaged. And it gives them resources, it gives them an avenue, gives them help to get from point A back to in front of their kids. Because the folks behind me, I'm sure, will share the statistics as well. You know, we've got an epidemic right now of fatherless. We've got teen pregnancies, teen dropouts, suicide rates, gun violence rates, drug rates, all these. What the common denominator is, dad's not in the home when children are in the home. So that is an epidemic that I believe if we were able to start to curb, we would have a lot fewer of the other issues in our nation. So this is an avenue to help put that back in place, get dads the help, the assistance, the hands that they need to help them navigate those roadblocks. So there's a few other things in here that were added over in the House, and I'll mention those. So they're not surprises. One was if a father, for some reason or another, gets behind in child support, the state of Missouri, usually the first thing they do is they take the driver's license away from dad, and that sounds probably one of the most counterproductive things to ever do, because how can dad go to work and support him and try to get caught up if he can't get to work? So that is in here, and talking with folks trying to get reform done for child support and the family. That's one of the biggest ticket items that I've heard. So that got put in here as an amendment, as well as working with grandparents losing visitation rights because either mom and dad were never married or one parent has ceased to be involved in the child's life. If they are the parents of that parent that has exited the scene. Unfortunately, with the system we've got today, they lose their rights as well. So it addresses that as well. Those are in there, but overall, this is to address the fatherlessness issue we've got in our nation, so in our state. So with that, I'll answer any questions.
Thank you, Representative. And I understand pretty clear what your intention is, but just kind of tell me, what was your motivation behind this legislation?
First and foremost, I was a dad that went through a divorce, and I have 4 children, and I refuse to be the statistic of having my kids every other weekend at best. I did end up with a blessing, and I had my kids 45 to 49% of the time, and I see the value of that. I grew up in what some would call a fatherless home. My dad would come home from work, he would sit in his chair, eat his dinner, watch TV, and then he'd go to bed. He was very unengaged. Some people call that a fatherlessness problem, not having dad in the home because he wasn't engaged. But I had it mild compared to other children who are growing up without dads in the home. And working with youth my whole entire adult life, I've seen it firsthand. I've seen kids from all areas, from inner city all the way to the ruralest of rural in the state of Missouri, growing up, and I see the issues that these kids are running into. And if we are going to take stock in our future and give them the best chance they've got, we've got to make sure that moms and dads together not necessarily in the same home. That's a totally separate issue that needs to be addressed as well. But this is to get mom and dad in the lives of their children.
Absolutely. Thank you for that, and thank you for bringing this bill forward.
Thank you.
Any members of the committee? Senator Moon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Representative Gragg. I missed the very first part, but I think I got the gist of this. We've talked before,
Yes.
at least in brief, about your proposal here, and I think it's a good premise because I agree with you that a one-parent home is not the best environment.
Correct.
Now, some good things have turned out in some of those as well. Some of the questions I have for you is with regard to, it starts on the first page under 210.1150, subsection 1, promoting fathership by helping fathers achieve greater self-esteem and better awareness of the possibilities of their family and community. What plan has been developed, and what is your intent to achieve this particular provision?
Sure. That's actually, I guess, if there was ever a fluff wording, that would be the part right there. How that will be achieved is, how the program is structured is that nonprofits, community organizations get involved here, and there is a model. And what that model is they hire fathership engagement professionals, and that person is kind of like a caseworker. They help dad navigate because they're going to be an understanding of the resources in the general community around the state, the helps to help dad navigate to get from whether he is having trouble with some legal issues he might have in his past, or whether he's having a problem occupationally, or if he's got anger issues. I'm just picking out of the air here some different various issues that I've heard over the time. This will be a resource to help them get from that point and out of that point to be able to be in front of their kids again. So that's where that would be.
In addition to that, I know there's some programs out there already that are attempting at least to provide good training for men who really don't know what fatherhood is all about.
Correct.
And you mentioned some downfalls of what might happen if that is the situation. And so I'm wondering if programs like Good Dads are going to partner with you in this program, and what about the churches? I know that they're not all involved, but is there a plan, or has it already been at least attempted to get churches to be aware of what you're trying to do and get them engaged?
Yes, this is the movement that I've heard growing from this bill and the discussion that I've been having the last 2.5, 3 years is spread far and wide. And you'll hear from the folks that will probably be coming up here behind me as well. Organizations like Good Dads, Man Up, and other organizations all throughout the state, they would be able to tap into this, and they would be able to use this as a resource to reach even further. So yes, the churches, the nonprofits, the community organizations, even like OCAC down in our area, they could even tap into this because their mission is to help the families. Yeah. So it's not just churches and nonprofits, it's even our community programs.
Right, yeah, good. And I wrote here another note about written plan. Do you have some type of plan that's already in writing that you could share with the committee, or is that still in the development stage, wanting to do that after the bill's
That
passed?
would be in the development of now in the fiscal note of this was that it would add 1 FTE. Family Services came to me and they said, we've already got the person hired. They're already in place. This would slide right underneath them, so the fiscal note should be a 0, but we've got to reflect it that way. Okay. That person would be with the direction, and the folks that would be in the Family Support Division would be able to create that verbiage, and if we needed to ahead of time, we could put that together as well. But kind of leaving it a little bit of creation from within as well, so that it's not just something handed to them and said, here's what you got to live with, make it happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then that dovetails into the next question about the fatherhood or fathership project specialist. What is that job description?
And that's that fathership engagement professional. I just use different term there.
Right.
That would be like that caseworker that would take dad who is at risk, who is unengaged, who has separated from being with his children and just not there, but he has that desire to be back in front of his children, and would help them navigate and get from where they're at now, and overcome the issues that are keeping him from being that person they need to be to be dad.
And that's the FTE that you're
No,
planning for?
that would be, the nonprofits would be the ones to, or the organizations would be the ones hiring that. The FTE would be under the Family Support
And I
Division.
see that's a plural, so you're hoping to have more than one.
I'm sorry?
I said that as a plural, so
Well-
I'm imagining you're wanting more than one.
And that wouldn't be state fund, that wouldn't be the state providing those FTEs, that would be
Gotcha.
the nonprofits.
Okay.
So that way the
Gotcha.
the burden would not be on the state for those folks. That would be the community organizations, the nonprofits, or the churches.
And I have not yet looked at the fiscal note, but what might be the need that you envision here for the funding of the program?
Sure. The funding of the program, it's actually just an open line item, and that can be funded multiple ways. One, it could be grants, donations, or if the legislature chose to, they could actually do some appropriations as well. Lots of different avenues, but I didn't want to leave it to just the fact that, or the idea that the state has to appropriate this.
And-
If the state doesn't want to, then they could leave it to just the donations and the grants and things.
And one last question here has to do with the visitation on the last page by
Yes.
the grandparents, and this could be even among the parents too, but it looks like we're leaving the decisions to be in the best interest of the child, and sometimes that's difficult to determine. And are we leaving this up to the judgment of the DHSS department altogether, or is it going to be? And I don't know exactly how to phrase this, but I have become aware of some decisions that are made that really are detrimental to the entire family, because sometimes the department thinks they know best and they don't really act in the best interest. So what is going to be a safety net so that we can, as a legislature, and we can't wait months to do this, so is there a provision in there where some immediate action can be taken if a decision is made that's contrary?
Well, this isn't to be run through the DHS. This would be actually, they'd have to go through the court system.
Okay.
So there would be
All right.
folks in place to
All right.
figure those pitfalls and those
good.
danger spots to
Okay.
keep the children safe.
Good.
Yeah,
Thank
this
you.
is strictly through the courts.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Moon. Senator Washington.
Hi, thank you, Representative, for being here. I just want to ask a few questions. My colleague from Lawrence County, he talked about what the church is involved. And really, a lot of what this is codifying some of the things that we already do as a state, right? We already have fathering funding, fathering program funding, as you stated, that we do administer to nonprofits, and some of those are connected with churches, right? And so I thank you so much for bringing this, because to codify this means we won't continue to have a fight over that every year. We have money in the budget every year that goes to various organizations to help the father. Now, where you live, do you all have a specific fathering court?
Court? Not to my knowledge, we don't. Ours runs through our family courts.
Well, but it's a program, like you have veterans court or you have drug court. Yes. I'd be happy to talk to you about that. So we do, I used to run that when I was a prosecutor. We have a fathering court program.
Sure.
So when their child support gets too much, we connect them with the organizations that are in the business of trying to help them become better fathers.
Exactly,
So they
yes.
don't go to jail. They go through parenting classes, job readiness, GED, all those sorts of things. I just want to say thank you for that, and I just want to make it clear that the state of Missouri is already understanding the importance of having fathers and strong fathers, so we are already funding these programs, but this will codify that will mean that in statute, we will always be able to have these type of programs, and I really appreciate you bringing this. Thank you. And the grandparent part, because,
Yes.
I don't want to have to fight my daughter and her husband.
Oh, yeah, we know who to win, right?
Any more questions of members of the committee?
If I can address one,
Now, Representative, keep in mind, you got folks here testifying. We already have to limit that time.
we'll
so.
catch each other in the hallway.
Uh,
That sounded bad.
Not to cut
In a
it
good
short.
way.
Go ahead.
No,
But I
no,
just
in a
want to
good
make
way.
sure
No.
we hear
No, I was
everybody.
just going to
because-
address him that, the importance of parents together are necessary. You'll find that there are some statistics that you'll find that where if a child lives with mom and dad, when it comes to discipline and staying in school, they have a 73% chance of staying in school and doing well and not doing drugs or getting in trouble. With just mom, it drops severely. But if they live with just dad, it's still 73%. So it just proves that there are certain things that dads are are put in place for. There are things that mom have those same style percentages as well. Moms are necessary, dads are necessary. Children need both of them in their lives.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, I want to do a roll call so we can go into session.
Senators Williams.
Oh, present. I'm sorry.
Washington. Here. Lewis. Moon. Here. Nicola.
Okay, so like everybody here. Now out of subcommittee, we're actually, did we have? Okay. Okay. First, yeah, and Rabbi, I'm gonna limit it to 1 minute testimonies because we have so many people and we got to be out of here soon.
Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, my name is Rabbi Zev Smason. I represent the Coalition for Jewish Values of Missouri, and part of my qualification, I think, in being here is that I'm blessed to be the father of 9 children, so a bit of experience in the role of a father. In David Blankenhorn's book, Fatherless America, the author suggests that there are really 2 Americas, not blue versus red, rich versus poor, white versus minority, rather an America with people who do have a father and an America with people who don't. Half of the children growing up today in America are doing so without the presence of a father. And this idea echoes the observation of Margaret Mead, who said the supreme test of any civilization is whether it can socialize men by teaching them to be fathers. And from a spiritual perspective, given that my time is limited, I'll share with you that all of you, I'm sure, together with most here, are familiar with the 10 Commandments, written on 2 tablets. On the 5th tablet, the first tablet is honor your father and mother. But those 5 first commandments represent our obligation between man and God. So the question that's raised in our tradition is that what is honoring one's parents having to do with the obligation to honor God and to respect God?
Got that.
So
Thank
the
you,
answer
Rabbi.
is that a relationship for a child with God is through one's parents. So I enthusiastically
So you are, so that's
support.
safe to say you're in support.
I enthusiastically
Thank
support
you.
this bill.
Thank you. How many do we have here in support to testify? Okay, anybody in opposition? Okay, so let's quick testimonies because we have gubernatorial appointments coming up next, so I don't want to relocate our room. So just get up real quick and we just do a testimony. I really appreciate it.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll be super quick. Mark Ludwig from St. Louis. I'm an Uber driver, and I get fathers in my car all day long, all over U-City and all over St. Louis. And this bill is going to help in 3 different buckets. It's going to help the married fathers that grew up without a father and didn't have a role model. They don't know what to do. It's going to give resources for them. It's going to give a lot of the fathers that the Representative Gragg talked about already that are just about to check out. They didn't have a role model. The system seems against them. They're ready to throw up their hands. And we've got some great facilities. I think the Senator Washington was talking about in St. Louis, we've got the Father Support Center that does a great job. But sort of like the Senator said, if we can codify this and say that, hey, the state is behind this. And then the third bucket is the bucket of fathers that are in family court that have been blindsided. They don't know what to do. And we have a lot of resources for mothers, which I'm in full support of, but it'd be neat to codify some resources for fathers as well. Just to know, too, it did pass unanimously in committee on the House side. It passed unanimously through rules and 135 to 11 on the floor.
Thank you so much. It's good to see a neighbor here.
Thanks.
All right, and make sure you fill out the witness form. Next, testimony and support.
Hi, Tim McConville with Man Up out of Springfield, Missouri, and we are currently piloting this program where we're talking about coming alongside as a mentor with dads whose kids are in the foster care system and kids who are at risk of going into the system, where dads are going, we don't know what to do and feel like we don't have support as we navigate through this. And so what we're doing is helping provide a mentor that is building relationship with that dad, not just during that process, but even ongoing after that, so that those dads have continued support. And so to your point about what that program looks like, it is a mentorship program where these guys where a hired specialist will come alongside these dads to help them through the foster plan process and then beyond that, but then dads who are at risk of losing their kids to be able to support them, to give them the support they need to get over that hump so that those kids stay in the home. The idea is supporting kids and dads staying together. So thank you so much. We appreciate listening to this, and I believe it's a good bill. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm Lauren Corbett, and I run a father's advocacy page called The Dadvocate that has over 500,000 subscribers. And I say that not to brag, but to stress that every single day I am hearing from fathers who are struggling to play an adequate role in their child's life. I hear from mothers who are struggling to get the fathers to play an adequate role in their child's life. I hear from the adult children of fatherless homes, and I hear from grandparents who are being erased out of their children's lives. And when I read this bill, especially about the part that will end driver's license suspension for delinquent child support, which does nothing to help repay the child support, I recognize that this is a bill that will help every single community throughout this entire country, but especially the state of Missouri. So I would plead with you to please consider voting on the bill today. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time. Next in support.
My name is Timothy Faber, and in the interest of time, I'm just going to say, while it may not be possible to mend every family and reconcile every marriage, we can and should do what we can to encourage fathers to be involved in the life of their children to whatever extent possible. So I would encourage you to vote yes on this bill.
Thank you very much, sir. Next in support.
Hi, my name is Linda Reitzel. I am the National Board Member and Missouri Chair of National Parents Organization. And what we do in a nutshell is we try to keep children, we let children have both of their parents at all costs, really. We've seen the chaos in schools and in workforce and in our neighborhoods since the government has taken over as parents and really has minimized the importance of fathers. For too long, this minimization has been to the detriment of our children. Statistics show children do better with an active father in their life. Polling in Missouri is overwhelming. People want fathers to stay in their children's lives because they see the chaos. Research all points to fathers being an integral part in their children's self-esteem, their contentment, and their well-being. I think this bill will promote the need for fathers to stay connected to their children and families. It will also educate and advocate for fathers within our Department of Social Services, which definitely has a bias towards women and against men. I have research and statistics here, a handout
Okay,
for
we'll
all
make
of you.
sure, we'll make sure the committee get that. If you just sit that right on the side with Jim,
Okay.
we'll make sure we get it.
And also, I would like to urge you, since it's so close to the end of session, if you could vote this out today, if not today,
Yeah, we'll
as soon as possible.
Well, it won't be a possibility if we don't get through
Okay,
everything.
yeah, I'll be
Okay.
quiet.
Next in support.
And here's, just leave this here?
Leave that with Jim, and I'll grab him for the committee.
This?
Just sit it right there.
All right, thank you.
Next in support. Okay, go ahead, come on. If you drove up here, come up here and let your voice be heard. We want you to be heard, but we just want it to be timely so everyone could get through.
Well, good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. I'm Dr. Guillermo Villatrueba for the Missouri Catholic Conference, and we would like to go on the record in support of House Bill 927. For the sake of time, I just want to point out that the Catholic Church has long recognized the importance of fathers at home, and I would just like to briefly quote Pope John Paul II, who mentioned that where social and cultural conditions so easily encourage a father to be less concerned with his family, or at any rate less involved in the work of education, efforts must be made to restore socially the conviction that the place and task of the father in and for the family is of unique and irreplaceable importance. We believe that this bill is one of these efforts and would encourage you to vote to pass on this bill. Thank you.
Thank you for your time. And again, thank everyone for taking time coming up here to testify, especially if you drove from out of town. With that, if it's okay with the committee, I would like to move that we go into executive session. Do I have a second? Second. All right, have a second. Have a motion, a second. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? No. Ayes have it. We're in executive session. I move that we bring House Committee substitute for House Bill 927 before the committee. Do I have a second? Do I have a second? We have a second. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Ayes have it. Bill's before it. Any discussion from the committee? Okay, no discussion. I now move that we do pass House Committee substitute, House Bill 927.
Second.
So we have a second? And now I have a second. Ayes have it. Christine, call the roll, please.
Senators Williams.
Aye.
Washington. Lewis. Moon. Nicola.
Okay. Okay, so for that, we have a 3-0. Also, for the record, Senator Nicola left his vote with us, so that is a 4-0 vote in support of House Committee substitute, House Bill 927. With that, I make a motion to now exit Executive Committee. Have a second? Got a second? Ayes have it. We're out of executive session, and with that, I will thank you all for taking time to come. Representative Gragg, good luck. Thank you for everything you do, and now let's... Yeah, and also at the reminder of my vice chair, thank you all for taking time to come in. I do apologize that we did not have more time for testimony, and just know we do appreciate you taking time to come and testify and make your voice heard on behalf of this bill. So thank you on behalf of our committee, and with that, I would like to make a motion to adjourn. Get a second.
Second.
Got a second? We are now adjourned. Thank you all so much. That's the conclusion of Progress and Development. Thank you.
I got you. Did you want copies of those emails that he had done? No? Okay, I just want to keep them in my binder.